everyone. We are working on practice sheet number 12. Number 1 says, Kimmy made an investment of $2,800 when she was 18 years old. She left the money in an account for 8 years and earned simple interest at a rate of 4.5%. Okay, so this is new information. The question says, how much money did her account earn? So all we're looking for is how much the interest is, how much her account earned. So number 1, simple interest. This is new. We go to our formula chart, and towards the bottom, we see simple interest, I equals PRT. Okay. So that's why we have our formula. I equals PRT. Principal times rate as a decimal times time in years. Okay. So that's 3 parentheses, right? We do our substitute. So principal is the amount invested. So it's $2,800. Okay. Rate is your percent, but I have to make it a decimal. So I go 1, 2. Now I'm going to let you know at the end when you multiply this, you are going to end up having to multiply. You're going to have to move that decimal 3 times when you multiply. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Then you'll move it in 1, 2, 3. And we want it in the account for 8 years. That is the time. I don't have to change it because it says time. Okay, so I'm going to help you with the first part. 2,800 times 0.045. I want to do this one last the 0. I don't even have to do that. I just need to make sure this is here because I count it with the decimal, okay? So you are going to multiply that first. When you're done with that, you're going to hold the spot and you're going to multiply by the 4. When you're done, you're going to move that decimal 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, any zeros here at the end, I do not need to keep. If they're here or here, well, if there's 1 here, I don't need to keep it. If there's a 0 here and here, I don't need to keep either one. Okay. You would need to keep the one if it's in between 2 other numbers, but move that decimal in. Anything you have towards the end that's a 0, you can get rid of it. Once I multiply by this, then I take that number and multiply by 8. Guys, and that tells you how much she earned. I need to see you solve this. Show your work. Number 2, find the area of the shaded region. So we had a question kind of like this for a bonus problem, okay, which is area of a shaded region. So we have 2 shapes that I see, right? I see a circle and I see a triangle. And we're going to know that this is an equilateral triangle. How do I know that? Because this is a radius, this is a radius, okay? They have to be the same length. I'm going to put a little right angle sign here because my triangle doesn't look too right, okay? Okay, so 5, 5. Over here, we have a radius of 5, okay? So that means you need to write your formulas. Area of a circle. Kind of. So there's the word area right here. Circle, A equals pi r squared. You're going to do that. It's a full circle, but there's a piece missing. I'm going to let you do that. Then for a triangle, right here, A equals half BH. So we're going to work on this one together. So we know our parentheses, 1, 2, 3, half BH. Half base, I mean, they're both, the base and the height, they're both 5, okay? So what I would do, and I know some of you can take half of 5 in your head, that's perfectly fine, but these are both odd numbers. So normally what I do is I multiply those, and then you need to divide it by 2, and it will give you a decimal, okay? That's your job. And your last step is to take whatever you get here and subtract the area of this triangle because you are removing it, okay? Number 3, there's so many of us that are leaving these blank for constant of proportionality. So our formula chart tells us constant of proportionality, K equals Y over X. Don't miss this. It says it, we can find it. The biggest thing that we need to make sure we know is if I have a horizontal table, it's X on top, Y on bottom. Otherwise, it's X comma Y. And I've been writing this on a lot of your papers lately, X comma Y. The Y is second, it goes on top. The X is first, it goes on bottom. So I can choose any point here. It doesn't matter, okay? I can do this one. I can do this one. It doesn't matter. If I do this one, it's the smallest numbers. Well, the Y is 7, the X would be 2. The Y is 7, the X would be 2. And your job is to divide that, okay? When you're writing an equation, it's perfectly fine to leave it like 7 over 2. But just for good practice, let's divide it and make it a decimal. Number 4 is circumference. And of course, you know we need to label this. This is the radius. Circumference. I have 2 pi r and pi d. I'm going to use c equals 2 pi r. So I'm going to put c equals 2 pi r. This 2, guys, remember, that means multiply by 2. 2 times pi times radius. 2, 3.14 radius. You multiply those 3. Number 5 says the manager of a coffee shop recorded the number of customers who put vanilla creamer or chocolate creamer in their coffee during 1 hour and classified them by age. The results are shown. What percent of these customers put chocolate creamer in their coffee during this hour? So we've just recently started. So remember, when we're doing percent, we can, if we're looking for a percent, I would always do is over of equals percent over 100. Okay, so we're going to do that right here so you have the room to cross multiply. So we know the 100, but we don't know the percent. Remember, your of is your TWO, your total whole original. So what percent of these customers, of all of these customers, so I have to add these to find the total. 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 6 is 12, 12 plus 8 is 20. It's a good number to work with for the denominator, 20. What percent put chocolate creamer in their coffees? I'm just going to go back up and double check that it's not giving me specific ages here. So it doesn't say anything in this question about the age for the chocolate creamer. So chocolate creamer, I would add this, 6 plus 8. And I'm only doing a lot of this with you because this is like our first week with this. I'm going to put 14 here, okay? Your job is to cross multiply, okay? I'll give you a hint. When you cross multiply, you'll be able to cross off a 0 somewhere, okay? Number 6, this is again, you can cross multiply or you can find a relationship by the side. If you can find a side-by-side relationship, that's what I would do. It's quicker, okay? But remember, you're going to do 28 times 21. Whatever you get, put it right here. The other side, we get 7x. Then we divide by 7. Why do I divide by 7? It's because in front of the x is a 7. Okay. Okay. Number 7. Guys, the biggest thing when you are doing percents is please make sure you read carefully, you answer the right question. This says, Allison bought a lipstick for $16, mascara for $18, and eyeshadow for $20. If the tax is 8%, so that's my tax rate, is charged, what is the total cost? So somewhere I have to add, somewhere. But I cannot add until I find the tax, okay? So the first thing we do is we're going to add the items, right? 16, 18, I did that out of order, but that's okay. So your job is to add this, okay? This is called our subtotal. So pause the video and add this. Then put that number right here, and you're going to multiply by 8%, but you have to do it as a decimal. So remember, 1, 2. So whatever you get, you're going to multiply that by 8%. That tells you the tax. Your job is to add the subtotal plus the tax, okay? So put your subtotal here, plus put your tax here, and then you're going to add those two numbers, okay? So I hope you're paying attention. You never know. It may ask for just tax. You don't know, but this time it wants the total cost. Okay, we have been struggling with number 8. We've been messing up this a lot. So remember, guys, first thing, you never want to see this. Plus a negative is a minus. Minus a negative, you put a plus. You rewrite it. And you box it. Okay, I don't see a sign, it's positive. So this would be same, sum, add. We're adding to the right because it's positive, so my answer should be a positive. Same, sum, add. Okay, number 9. This was a problem very similar to what was on the test. Jason is painting a large circular mural on the wall in his room. The diameter across the circle will be 8 feet. The diameter is 8. How many square feet will be covered by the mural? So, several things here. We've talked about this. Painting, square feet, covered. Guys, you are solving for area of the circle. Make sure you find the radius. Okay? And the last one. Now, if this was a multiple choice question, I might be solving it a little bit differently, okay? So, first thing, I'm multiplying, and I see a positive and a negative. So you should make sure you have a negative sign there. I would put that now. Then we have 3.5 times negative 2.7. One thing we have talked about is that I want to make sure you know what a half is. You need to know how to work with a half, but a half is 3.5. This is the same as 3.5. Put it in your brain. That 0.5 is the same as a half, so it's just 3.5. Okay, then you're going to multiply. It just happens that these are lined up, but we don't line up decimals when we are multiplying. It just happens that these are multiplied because remember, at the end we count it over. So it'll be 1, 2, 1, 2, and then make sure your sign is in front of that.